Hello, scholars, and welcome to our discussion of Chapter 5. And our discussion of Chapter 5 is on motivation. It is one of the key chapters on organizational behaviors because motivation is one of the key processes that influences employees to do their jobs. So if employees don't feel motivated, their performance is lower, turnover in the organization is higher, and even customer satisfaction is lower if you're dealing with customers like Southwest Airlines, like USD, like say McDonald's. All of these have customers, and it leads ultimately to negative effect on them. One of the key things also about motivation, it is highly under the control of the managers, and that is why we study it, is that we can improve your employee motivation to do their jobs, okay? So in this chapter, we're going to talk about what is motivation, how does it affect my behavior as an employee. Then we'll talk about two types of theories, what we call content theories of motivation, which look at motivation as an innate thing inside of us, and that it's not motivated by external forces. Then we will look at process theories of motivation, but process theories of motivation look at motivation as an interaction between internal factors inside of the employee, as well as a bunch of external factors. And finally, we'll look at 5.4, which is job design. How can we have different approaches, a bottom-up approach or top-down, or what we call idiocentric ideals, to come up with the ideal job that would be motivating for an employee. So if you look at this organizing framework over here, we'll find that your needs, and that's what we'll talk about in motivation. We'll find on the left-hand side, there are hygiene factors, motivating factors, job design. All of these are inputs. And so that's why we say motivation is very important, because we deal with a variety of different inputs that can affect processes and finally the outcomes. And the outcomes will not change from one chapter to the other, but because mostly they are, job performance, lower turnover, better team performance, and better organizational performance. And in this case, it's customer satisfaction. We'll also talk about a bunch of processes as well, like equity and justice, expectancy, and goal setting. So we'll see that motivation deals with mainly inputs, processes, and seeing it effects on the individual level, group, and organization level type of outputs. Okay, so what is motivation then? Okay, so motivation is the underlying psychological influences over our behavior or thoughts. It basically decides on what we do. So it is the push behind why we do certain things. Okay? And they vary in terms of direction, intensity, and persistence. So for example, if you are focused on customer satisfaction, that's the direction that you're going into. How intensely do you do it? Do you really want to meet your customer expectations? Do you, do it with a high level of intensity, making sure that they're very happy? And persistence. Do you keep on doing that over time? Or is it just a one-time thing that you did yesterday and you won't continue on? So this is what Disney always ensures, is that the direction is towards meeting their customers' expectations, that they're happy inside of their parks. They do it with a very high level of intensity. And that this is something that the employees do day in and day out. And they have a whole department, the risk management department, to ensure that the employees are capable of doing these things and that they don't burn out over time, that they don't get injured, and that they have sufficient motivation to do this. What is important in this chapter to realize is that there are also two types of motivation, extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. So extrinsic motivation results from potential or actual receipt of external rewards. For example, at the end of the year, you receive a bonus. That's an extrinsic motivation because it comes from outside yourself. Also, you get a sales commission. That's an extrinsic motivation. Your boss tells you, a word of praise. That's also extrinsic. Intrinsic comes from within you. They arise from feeling of accomplishment, self-actualization. So a person climbing Mount Everest is intrinsically motivated because he or she wants to feel the pride and joy of climbing the highest mountain on Earth. I have some students in the past who argued higher grades despite there being no difference in their final letter grade. So if you get a 95 versus a 98, and I understand what the reason is, they want to feel that they have been able to master that course. So it's not a matter of practicality. It's a matter of that they have that intrinsic motivation to feel that sense of accomplishment. So we're going to talk about two fundamental types of theories on motivation. Okay, and this is what we said at the beginning. There are content theories and there are process theories. Content theories focus on internal factors that drive motivation, while process theories look at what? An interaction between internal factors as well as situational factors to influence employees. Okay? So if you focus on an employee's need for achievement, that would be a content theory. But if you look at, let's say there is an employee, he has a need for achievement, he needs to advance in his career, okay? But do we really offer that in our job? Do we provide them with a proper training, maybe with scholarships, with scholarship money to get into college? So now we realize, motivation is an interaction between what the employee wants, what they need, and as well as the environment or the place that they work in. And that's the essence of a process type of theory. Okay, so let's test our knowledge here. Say Juan is trying to learn how to use advanced spreadsheet features. He's not getting the correct answers, but he keeps on trying. What is Juan exhibiting? Is it A, direction, B, extrinsic motivation, persistence, attention to detail, or emotional attention? If you said C, persistence, then you're right. So over here, he is persisting on doing something. Part of motivation is the extent to which that person will keep on trying to do a certain type of action, even if they fail, as it is the case in here.